Toronto and Rogers Center, where the Minnesota Twins are in town for the home opener of the 2011 season for the Toronto Blue Jays. The Twins, the reigning American League Central champs, will take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Ricky Romero will lead the Blue Jays on the field as they are all set to open up the 2011 season. A tremendous atmosphere here at Rogers Center, a sold-out house. They were entertained with a pregame ceremony honoring not only Jose Bautista in his terrific home run season from a year ago, 54 homers, but also the Hall of Fame class of 2011. Roberto Alomar, Pat Gillick, and Bert Blyleven of the Minnesota Twins. Pat, I can't remember as much emotions in this ballpark for a long time.
The excitement from all the fans. They've got the towels. They're out there waving. It's joining the past, I think, with the present and bringing it all together with Alomar and Gillick here and Bert Blyleven, and then bringing it for what they are doing now in the organization. It's an excitement that we haven't had around here for a few years. And
it's an appropriate punctuation mark, if you will, to end one era. You can see the new banners hanging high above the video board in center. Pat Gillick, Roberto Alomar honoring their induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame this July in Cooperstown. The Minnesota Twins went to the postseason a year ago under Ron Gardenhire. He was named the American League Manager of the Year. Denard Spahn will lead it off. The switch hitter from Japan, Tsuyoshi Nishioka, will be the second baseman. The two Golden Glove hitters in the middle of the order, Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau. Delman Young has really come into his own, hit .298 a year ago. Michael Kadire, Jason Kubel, and Danny Valencia, who had a great impact last year in just 81 games, will face Ricky Romero.
Ricky Romero takes the ball for his first opening day start for the Blue Jays. Now in his third season with Toronto. Ricky passed 200 innings for the first time last year. In a small sampling versus the Minnesota Twins, he has pitched very well against the Twins. 2-0 with a .278 earned run average in 3 starts. He is the ace of this team. He is the leader of this pitching staff, and I think he matches up very well against the Minnesota Twins.
27-18 in his 2 years in the major leagues. This is his third full season. His first opener, as Pat mentioned. Denard Spahn, the center fielder, set, and here's the first pitch of the Blue Jays season. Just off the inside corner, according to Joe West, the home plate umpire.
Spahn is a very pesky hitter at the plate. Takes a lot of pitches, tries to go the other way.
A ball on the strike.
A very underrated hitter is Denard Spahn. Only 5 outfielders have more hits since 2009 than Denard Spahn's 346.
Fastball just inside. Ichiro Suzuki of the Mariners leads the American League outfielders in hits with 439. So Spahn is right there in some pretty impressive company. Bounced on the ground. Aaron Hill shortened up. In time, 1 out.
Let's take a look at the defense that will play behind Ricky Romero tonight. They caught the ball extremely well in spring training. Just 24 errors this spring. Travis Snyder, Rajay Davis, and Jose Bautista will form the outfield. Across the infield from left to right, Edwin Encarnacion, Junel Escobar, Aaron Hill, and Adam Lynn behind the plate tonight. Catching Ricky Romero, the battery will be J.P. Arancibia. Getting his first start. There's Adam Lind over at first base, who has improved mightily.
Sure has. Even from the first day of spring training, he's much more comfortable at first. Tsuyoshi Nishioka, the second baseman, takes a first pitch strike from Ricky Romero. Nishioka, just 26 years old. He signed as a free agent. Came over from the Japanese Professional League. Breaking ball, bounce to Romero. 2 quick-outs here in the first.
Let's take a look at the scouting report for Ricky Romero. Tonight's scouting report brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Ricky Romero's got a lively arsenal. Fastball, his off-speed stuff just jumps out of his hands. Got a great changeup. He is the leader of this pitching staff at just 26 years old. Forget about what happened in spring training. He said his arm felt great. He said everything felt great. The numbers weren't there, but this is a different time now to start.
The all-star catcher Joe Mauer with 2 outs. Romero appears to be pretty comfortable. I don't notice any extra adrenaline, even though this is his first opening day start.
He's a very excitable type of guy when he gets on that mound. Sometimes he tends to rush, but tonight so far he's staying back and firing bullets.
That one got away from him as he falls behind 2-0.
The spring starts that Romero had, his ERA was up over 8 in his 5 starts in spring training. He worked on a few things. He did have some injuries. He had a finger problem that set him back a little bit. But he said his arm felt great. The numbers weren't there, but you know the talent is.
Another bouncing ball right back to Romero. Nothing to it in the first for Ricky Romero. 1-2-3 first inning. When we come back, Jose Bautista, Major League leader in home runs with 54. The Hank Aaron Award, the Silver Slugger. He'll bat third here at Rogers Center. This new season, he's the everyday first baseman, and if you don't think these players feel the pressure, that's after the first out. A 4-3 put out, and he says, man, I got that one out of the way.
Take a deep breath and let it out. That's got to relax you.
Good for you, Adam. Let's take a look at the Jays lineup as they want to get off to a good start here at home. This is the 35th home opener, the 35th opening day for the Blue Jays. Davis, Escobar, Bautista, top third in the order. Lind, Hill, and Escobar in the middle 3. Snyder, Revere, and Aaron Sebia. This is a very balanced, very deep lineup for John Farrell.
Power up and down that lineup. And now this year a chance to manufacture runs with a little extra speed with the man at the plate.
Rajai Davis with 50 steals a year ago with the Oakland Athletics. 5 home runs, a career high. Sharply hit to Casilla at short. Bounces it. Not in time at first. He's safe. As advertised, the Blue Jays with a different look offensively.
One of the elements that do not go into slumps, and that speed. You hit a one-hopper, a bullet to the shortstop, and with that great speed, not taking anything for granted, the one-hop play, and Rajai Davis comes out of that box smelling base hit.
All spring long, the entire team busted it out of the batter's box, and Davis picks up his first hit of the season. 50 steals in 61 attempts a year ago as Junel Escobar faces Carl Pavano. And Davis is picked off. Nishioka fake, and he's safe. The hesitation by the second baseman allowed Davis to slide back into first, head first.
Davis obviously taken off, but now he knows he's in trouble. Morneau, that you want to try and get it down to just one throw. There's one, and here comes another one. That hesitation right there, the high throw, and Pavano is about 6'5". He can't get it back down.
Anytime you can get the pitcher involved in a rundown, you're in pretty good shape as a base runner, and he was able to slide around Carl Pavano. So we'll try it again. Bounced into left field, a base hit. First and second, nobody out for Jose Bautista.
Right fielder, number 19, Jose Bautista.
.54 home runs, 124 RBI a year ago. He led the majors in home runs. Set a new Blue Jays franchise record for home runs in a season. There goes Davis. Throw to second base. Not in time, a double steal.
All right, a couple of things to think about here. The first two guys get on, the whole building is going crazy, and you're going to steal with your big home run hitter at the plate. You don't want to run into an out, but they're not paying attention to him. Rajai Davis had a huge lead at second base. Escobar, the same thing. This is the brand of baseball that John Farrell's been talking about all spring long. We're going to run, and it doesn't matter the situation.
Off-speed pitch. Bautista's out in front, a ball on the strike. Well, it really changes Bautista's approach now with runners at second and third, nobody out. Just think big part of the diamond, cash in one run for sure.
Yeah, even any ground ball back through the middle is going to get the runner in and over. If it finds its way into the outfield, it's 2-0.
Breaking ball just off the outside edge. Bautista has not fared well against Carl Pavano, just 1 for 11 in their head-to-head matchups. Pavano faced the Blue Jays in his final regular season start of 2010. He and Ricky Romero matched up in Minneapolis. Here's where Bautista's most dangerous. Count in his favor. Runners in scoring position.
But the thing about Bautista, he won't go out of the strike zone. He's a very patient hitter, and if he senses that you're pitching around him, he'll go ahead and take his walk and let the cleanup man do his thing.
Bases are loaded. The cleanup hitter, Adam Lynn, will come to the plate with nobody out, and the bases loaded.
See if that deep breath helps him now with the bat in his hand.
I know he feels comfortable with the bat in his hand.
Really started swinging the bat well the latter half of spring training, using the whole field.
We saw it all spring training where he stayed on the ball, hit the ball to the opposite power alley, and that's when he's at his best.
Yeah, that is his strength, that ability to split the gap in left center field. And if you make a mistake, and we saw it in Tampa last Wednesday, breaking ball down and he speeds his bat up, he can rifle the ball down to the corner for extra bases also.
Hit him. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. Well, we told you they weren't going to rely on the home run to score runs.
First and second, nobody out, the big home run hitter up, and you steal second and third. That sets up a walk, and then this. Fastball just trying to push him off the plate. And Pavano, with outstanding command, just hits batter all of last year. Finds himself into the problems this year in this inning. Let's take a look at the numbers for Carl Pavano. Had a big year last year, 17-11 for his best season since winning 18 games when he was a member of the Florida Marlins back in 2004. He became a free agent at the end of the season after that 17-win season. The Twins quickly re-signed him to a 2-year, $16.5 million deal. This is Pavano's second opening day start in his career. And right now he's just trying to figure out how to get out of this with not a lot of runs scored.
Pitching coach Rick Anderson out to try to help him get through this situation that he is not even at the edge of the woods yet. Bases loaded, nobody out. Aaron Hill at the plate. Hill had an off season, batting just .205, but he pounded out 26 home runs. Fly ball center field. That should score a run. Escobar's tagging at third. Bautista's tagging at second. There goes Lind into second. Good base running all around. Escobar scores. Blue Jays lead it 2-0 on the sac fly by Aaron Hill.
Yeah, and think about this. A fly ball to center field, and they pick up 3 bases. Each one of the runners on base tagging up and moving up. Sacrifice fly scores the second run of the inning. Bautista gets to third base with less than 2 outs, and he tells Adam Lind, hey, take a look at me. I'm going to let you know what I'm going to do. And Lind alertly from first gets himself into scoring position.
1 out, second and third. Encarnacion drives it to center, spun back. He makes a running catch. Bautista tags at third, and he'll come in to score. 3-0 Blue Jays.
Base running has been a theme for the Blue Jays this spring. Can you pick up 90 feet, and what does that mean? This is the sacrifice fly where all 3 runners are going to move up. Escobar is going to score easily from third, Bautista easily to third base, but Adam Lind puts his head down and motors into scoring position, alertly tagging up from first.
Blue Jays have taken a page out of the Twins playbook. Travis Snyder with Lind at second and 2 down. Off speed pitch for a strike. Snyder played in just 82 games in the big leagues a year ago. He had a wrist injury at the end of May. Ended up with 14 home runs in those 82 games.
Natural power. That's what Travis Snyder has when he stands in that batter's box.
Hardly hit the second base. Off Nishioka's glove. Here comes Lind around third. He's going to score. Nishioka got handcuffed on the backhand side. The speed of the artificial surface may have got to him there. A 4-run first on Pavano.
Nishioka is a very good fielder. He won 3 Gold Gloves in the Japan League, but this one, the in-between hop just doesn't get the glove down. Watch as he goes to his right, doesn't get it down, closes it, it bounces off his glove out in the short right field. We'll see how they score it, if it's a hit or an error, or a straight error. It looks like an error on the second baseman. Blue Jays capitalize on the defense of the Minnesota Twins with another run.
The 8th hitter of the inning is Juan Rivera. Rivera has had big numbers against Carl Pavano. 7 for 15 with a homer. Last year with the Angels, he hit 15 home runs and drove in 52. and 2. Rivera's 32 years old. He came in the Vernon Wells trade with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He and Mike Napoli came to the Blue Jays. As Wells went west, Napoli was quickly turned into Frank Francisco in a deal with the Texas Rangers.
And he's a veteran hitter. Been around for a while. He knows the drill in spring training. Did not get off to a great start offensively, and about halfway through he started swinging it.
He was part of the lineup shakeup at the end of spring training. Everybody expected him to open up the season in right field, and John Farrell made the decision to put Bautista back in right and pushed Rivera to the DH slot. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Travis Snider gets picked off, but they call a ball. Angel Hernandez calls Pavano for the movement of his knee before he came to first. Snider will move into scoring position on the balk.
It's a balk move. Watch the front knee of Carl Pavano. If he bends it like he's going to home plate, watch him bend that first before he spins, and that's where the balk is called by Angel Hernandez, the first base umpire.
Pulled foul outside of third. John Farrell's team playing exactly how he envisioned it.
Couldn't get off to a better start, huh? Rookie manager, your first inning, Ricky Romero goes right through the Twins. Your hitters come up and put a 4 spot up. That's got to take a little pressure off of you.
And the players buy into it. You can see the enthusiasm on the bench. Escobar gets a base hit. Encarnacion gets an RBI on the sac fly. Davis gets a steal. Swing and a miss. Rivera goes down, but the Blue Jays send 8 men to the plate in the first. A big night at Rogers Center. Blue Jays get off to a 4-0 lead. Center trying to break up a double play, slides into the knee of John McDonald at second base. Molino's helmet slams the left knee, and it didn't look like that significant an injury at the time, but he didn't play another inning after that.
You know, when you watch that replay for the second time, you can see how his neck was bent backwards, and he just wasn't the same player, and I'm just so happy he is back in the lineup now. Struggled towards the end of spring training, but look at those numbers. That was in 81 games last year.
At the time of the injury, he was second in the American League in batting average. He was first in on-base percentage, second in slugging, and tied for first in go-ahead RBI. Truly having another MVP caliber season. Into center field, Davis coming on, makes the catch. Delman Young steps in against Ricky Romero. Young had a banner season a year ago. Hit .298 for the Twins with 21 homers and 112 RBI. And he's still just 25 years old.
You can see the improvement from Delman Young from year to year. When he first came up with the Tampa Bay Rays, he would shoot a lot of balls to right field, and he was learning how to hit at the big league level. Here are his numbers from last year. And now as he learns the league, learns the pitchers, you're going to see him turning on things. And the power is going to develop.
Well, he sure looks hitterish right now. When you look at him, you think, man, this guy's ready to hit. He made this change last year at the start of the season and kind of spread his feet out, bent over a little bit at the waist, and he really looks dangerous now at the plate.
Yeah, a much better base. You talk about him spreading out his legs. He's got a wide base, and he's quieter. His head stays still a lot longer.
Strike three call. Joe West with the very delayed strike call. Good fastball gets Delman Young. First strikeout of the night for Ricky Romero.
Whenever you see a pitcher in the first part of a game be able to go to the inside part with a fastball to any kind of hitter, you know he's got good speed on that fastball. Slips one by Delman Young for his first strikeout.
Michael Cuddyer, the right fielder, swings at the first pitch, and there's the first Twins base hit of the season. It comes with 2 outs.
Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
So Michael Cuddier's aboard with 2 down. Jason Kugel, the DH, takes a first pitch strike from Ricky Romero. Kugel had a big season a year ago, 21 homers, 23 doubles. He also drove in 92. Kugel's one of these many homegrown Twins, 28 years old now. They have certainly had a stable roster over the last several seasons.
Whenever a Twins player comes out of their farm system, they are so good at the fundamentals, not just defensively or how pitching. All their hitters are good major league hitters. They're good hitters. They understand what they have to do. They can use the whole field. You make mistakes and they can pull the ball into the seats for a home run. But they don't strike out a lot. They have great plate coverage.
Swung on and missed. Ricky Romero turns it over, racks up a couple of strikeouts. The Twins get a hit, but Ricky Romero strands it. Blue Jays lead 4-0.
Minnesota Twins is 35-year-old Carl Pavano. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Pavano. He's got great location. 221 innings pitched last year, just 37 base on balls. That leads into changing speeds. A changeup and a slider. It's not very overpowering, but it's very good. And he's had Blue Jay nightmares. Last year, 3 starts, no wins, a 6.75 earned run average. And in his career here at Rogers Center, his ERA is up over 7.
He's a strike thrower. He's going to be around the plate. And as a hitter, you've really got to anticipate getting something good to hit. Hop down the right side. Cuddyer over near the wall, and it's back into the seats. But what do you do against a guy like Pavano that works quickly, throws a lot of strike? What's your mindset as a hitter?
I think get ready to swing, because you know it's going to be around the plate, like you say. You can guess along with him. You can look outside if you have to, or look inside, whichever one you want to do. But just be ready to swing the bat, because he's going to be around the plate.
Big numbers in AAA a year ago for Aaron Sebia. Takes his strike from Pavano. JP was the Pacific Coast League MVP last year. 32 home runs. Great power numbers. Two balls, two strikes.
And there will be a learning curve for JP Arencibia as he transitions from AAA hitter to big league hitter. We're going to be facing great pitching night in and night out.
But it certainly will take the pressure off JP Arencibia, hitting ninth in this batting order, given all the depth and experience in the first 8 spots. Popped up to right. Kadir had a little trouble locating. Now he's got a bead on it. Makes the catch. One down. So back to the top of the order. Rajai Davis, basically the first true leadoff hit of the Blue Jays have had since Shannon Stewart.
50 stolen base potential, and Shannon was a stolen base threat. You know that firsthand. And I would go along with that comparison, Davis and Stewart.
Davis set career highs a year ago with Oakland in games played, runs scored, hits with 149, doubles, home runs, RBIs, and stolen bases. He had a breakout season. Off the end of the bat, back to Pavano. 2 quick outs here in the second.
His legs got him the first run in the first inning. Ground ball to shortstop, beat it out. Then he was picked off, but he was able to stay out of that and stay safe, as then came around on the sacrifice fly.
Jeanette Escobar singled and scored in first. Bounce to third. Danny Valencia across the diamond. Quick inning for Pavano. A 1-2-3 second inning. We've played 2 here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays lead it 4-0. Closer look at Ricky Romero, who comes from Los Angeles. He pitched at Cal State Fullerton and was a first-round pick back in 2005.
How about 6th overall? Remember that 2005 draft? So Ryan Braun was in that draft, and Troy Tulowitzki. I remember J.P. Ricciardi was very high on Ricky Romero and did not let the cat out of the bag until they called his name. He said, "You're going to love this guy. He's really passionate about what he does." Danny Valencia, the third baseman, leads off the third inning. Valencia finished
third in the Rookie of the Year voting a year ago. Played in 81 games. Played in 85 games, excuse me, for the Twins and hit .311.
Another one of those solid Minnesota Twin players. When they come out of the farm system, they are ready to help the big league club. You mentioned the 85 games, just 6 errors over at third base, and a threat at the bottom of that lineup for Ron Gardenhire.
And one thing the Twins have always done is they make sure their players are ready before they ever promote them to the big leagues. Valencia is 26 years old. On the ground, Encarnacion, good hands at third. Strike across the diamond.
Spent the whole spring over at first base, had some spot starts at third base, but towards the end of the last week, it was announced that Encarnacion would be the third baseman with plays like this. He is moving so much better than what we saw last year laterally, and he's always had very soft hands for a big man. That time keeps his feet moving as his momentum takes him to first base for the out.
Came into camp down 12 pounds, in good shape, anxious to erase the stigma of DH and backup first baseman. Alexi Casilla swings at the first pitch and lofts a lazy fly ball to center. 2 quick outs.
I've always said that if you don't like your situation, do something about it. Right?
Yeah, and he certainly did, and he deserves a lot of credit because it was almost penciled in that he was going to be the backup first baseman. He would DH sometimes and maybe play occasionally at third, but he played so well in the spring. He changed all the coaches and managers' minds.
No, I don't want to be a DH. I want to show that I can play the field, and to his credit, he had a great spring.
28 years old and primed to have a big year. Denard Span shows bunt, takes a strike. Ricky Romero looks like he's getting into a groove.
You could see him when he came out of the bullpen after warming up, throwing before this game. He had his game face on. Bill tucked way down, the eyes peering out from underneath it. And he is locked and loaded right now.
Curveball missed down and away. There's been a lot of talk about J.P. Arancibia behind the plate, getting a chance to do the majority of the catching this year, but he and Romero came through the minor league system together, so he knows Ricky Romero. Has also caught Brett Cecil in the minors. Ball on the strike to Span. Base hit, bounced through the middle. Second hit for the Twins against Ricky Romero.
But they come with 2 outs. The first one last inning with 2 outs, nobody on, and the same thing here with Span. Now he is a threat to steal.
Do you steal when you're 4 down in the 3rd inning?
I think you have to be aggressive. I don't think you can sit back. Not the way Romero is throwing. You can't sit back and hope for a 3-run homer. I think you have to make something happen.
Nishioka cuts on the first pitch. Tsuyoshi Nishioka, the second baseman, a switch hitter batting right-handed against Romero. He was the batting champ in the Nippon Professional Baseball League a year ago. Hit .346 for Chivalote Marines. Played for Bobby Valentine when Valentine was managing in Japan.
That .346 average was his highest of his career.
Playing for another good manager here in Minnesota in Ron Gardenhire. That's the pitch that the Twins are a little concerned of as they watch Nishioka make adjustments batting against Major League pitching. Inside on both sides of the plate.
Scouting report has pitchers in spring training were jamming him. A lot of fastballs, a lot of breaking balls on the inner half. I think as a hitter, you have to make a decision before you get to 2 strikes. Am I going to swing at that inside pitch or let it go?
Romero checks on Span at first. Top of the 3rd inning, Blue Jays laid it on the strength of a 4-run first inning. Blue Jays scored 4 runs on just 2 hits. A couple of sacrifice flies and a double steal in that first inning. Outside. For a long time in the Japanese Professional Baseball League, hitters never saw sinking fastballs. It was something that they never threw in Japan. It's quite an adjustment when you come here. Cut on and missed. Romero strikes him out. Ricky Romero has 3 strikeouts on the game so far. Blue Jays lead it 4-0. Earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan. Rogers is launching a text to donate campaign. Rogers Wireless and Fido customers can text ASIA to 30333 to donate $5 to the earthquake relief efforts. 100% of all donations will go to the Canadian Red Cross Japan Earthquake Asia/Pacific Tsunami Fund. Step up. There's a lot of people that need a lot of help. Before the start of the game tonight, a moment of silence was observed for the earthquake and tsunami victims in Japan. Devastating. A ball on the strike to Jose Bautista, leading off the bottom of the 3rd. Bautista walked and scored. Two balls and a strike.
Showing some patience against Carl Pavano. Bautista, he's not just about home runs. He's got a great idea when he steps into that batter's box.
Off-speed pitch. Bautista may have thought that pitch was low. 2-2. They make a great point, and it's not all about hitting home runs. He has a very good idea what he wants to do at the plate. Sharply hit on the ground. Big hop for Casilla. Bautista is retired. This is a very powerful lineup. 257 home runs a year ago. 7 players hit 20 or more home runs, and Jose Bautista led the way. But the biggest impression was how big a gap they had over the Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yeah, take that, Boston and New York. That was their number one thing. They could hit a lot of home runs. Did it translate into runs? Blue Jays were at the middle of the pack in runs scored last year, despite all those home runs. And they really counted on the home runs to score a lot of runs for them.
34% of their runs came by the home run. Those home run totals, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in the majors. But as you saw in that first inning, 2 singles, a double steal, a walk, a hit batter, and 2 sac flies. Blue Jays now have a few more toys to play with.
Yeah, but they still have power up and down the lineup.
Pop down the left side. Casilla into foul ground, makes the catch. 2 outs. Pavano has kind of straightened things out after a rocky first.
He had to get into that stretch motion right away after the first batter. That threw him off after he gave up a single, a walk. Then he hit a batter to get the first run in. But since then, he has looked very sharp.
Aaron Hill was plagued with a strained quad muscle all throughout the spring. It took just about 3.5 weeks before he was able to play. And here he gets his first hit of the baseball season. Around first, headed for second, ball off the wall. Young's throw to second. And Hill has a 2-out stand-up double.
Watching him coming out of the box, nothing wrong with Aaron Hill physically now with his legs. Puts his head down, and he knows that this is extra bases. You were telling me before the game you saw him yesterday in the workout running no problem.
Yeah, he was catching pop-ups out in shallow center field from his second base position, turning and burning and really running at top speed. It really made him feel comfortable. He was ready to start the season.
That's a good sign.
Now he's got to score from second base on a base hit. Edwin Encarnacion has an RBI already.
Aaron was telling us the other day down in Tampa he knew that his leg was okay that last game where he had to score twice from second base on base hits, and he came around third base with nothing, no problem, no question in mind about his leg.
Off the end of the bat, Young came in a few steps, now has to retreat, makes it over the shoulder catch. He got fooled as that ball carried a long way. Blue Jays get a 2-out double, but nothing more. We have played 3 here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays lead it. Organizational ranks from 2010, where the Blue Jays were 28th. They've jumped dramatically up to the 4th spot, and we're pleased to be joined now by the man that's responsible for some of that movement, Alex Anthopoulos, the Senior Vice President of Baseball Operations. I guess you got to be thrilled about the first inning.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. There's no doubt about it. And I know obviously Davis and Yunel stealing that base, but most exciting play for me, it's going to sound crazy, is when Lindy tagged up. I would have never seen him do that in the past, and that's just hard, smart base running, and that's what I hope we're going to see the entire year.
Well, that's something that John Farrell has talked about. We're going to be aggressive. We were the worst team going from first to third and second to home in baseball. That right there, I think, shows you what they're going to do this year.
I think it's great, and there's no question we're going to be thrown out every so often, and we're going to make some mistakes, but I don't mind. John's philosophy, certainly I'm 100% on board of being aggressive on the bases. It's exciting for the fans that we can make things happen. And even though Davis got picked off there, the guy on the mound is going to worry about him, and that's going to help us.
I think that's one thing that gets overlooked. Not only the impact of a steal, but the threat of a steal is distracting to the pitcher. And you could see Pavana was bothered with speed on the bases.
There's no doubt. And I know Bruce Walton's talked about it a lot. John Farrell, those are the guys that had the game plan for all those years, and they hated it. And the impact is great to watch.
Do players think they're going to get more fastballs with the speed on the bases? Do you hear them talking about that?
You know, I haven't. I know that the approach certainly is to look for the fastball and really try to stick with that philosophy throughout, unless you're going in looking for an off-speed pitch. But, you know, you would think that we certainly will start, especially with a guy like Davis. I mean, the fact that he beat out that throw, I was shocked how deep the shortstop was playing, knowing how fast he can run.
Well, it's a different look, and certainly when you get prepared for a team that you've played against for several years like the Blue Jays, it's going to take a while before teams really believe what they're seeing with this ball club.
No doubt about it, and it's a nice brand. It's a new brand of ball, and the guys are certainly enjoying it.
Well, with the shift on, Encarnacion had a long run. He was playing at shortstop, no chance to get to that ball. Talk about Rajai Davis. Why did you identify him as someone you wanted to bring into this organization?
Well, we were last in the American League in stolen bases last year. Again, we're not running away from the home run. If we know that we can hit the most home runs in the big leagues, we would take that any day of the week. But we need to have a more diverse offense. We need to be able to have that speed. Speed plays in any park, and that's the biggest component, and to add that to our play.
Justin Morneau to the warning track. Bautista's got a bead on it. It makes the catch. He just got under that one.
When you came on, we were talking about the organizational rank, and the Blue Jays now, in this year, ranked 4th in all of baseball in the farm system. You talk about speed, youngsters, and athleticism. Does that go into your thinking with the draft?
100%, and I feel like I'm on the athlete kick more and more the longer I'm in this job. I see Romero make that great play, and you think about athletes as position players, but you can get athletes all over the diamond. It's going to help you. But I can't say enough the commitment that Rogers has made, the finances that they gave us last year to spend what we did in the draft and to get the best player available. And in the past, we didn't have the ability to do that. And certainly the work of all the scouts, all the player development staff, no one talks about them. They don't get their name in the lights. They don't get to be announced or have people come up to them and shake their hand on the street. But they are absolutely the backbone, and they're the reason that we went up those rankings.
And Ricky Romero is a product of great scouting in the draft in 2005, and there was a lot of attractive guys on the board when you picked Ricky Romero.
No, there's no doubt about it, and I think the people that deserve a world of credit. One, J.P. Ricciardi saw him and certainly identified him, and obviously John Lalonde, our scouting director, was very high on him.
We got a half inning more with us. Sure. Alex will be back with us. Ricky Romero has another quick inning.
Local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back here at Rogers Center, Blue Jays fans treated to a very good start to an opening weekend here. 4-0 lead here as we watch the Blue Jays step to the plate in the bottom of the 4th. Travis Snider will lead things off. Reached on an air his first time up, hit a hot shot to the second baseman. We are joined in the booth here by Alex Anthopoulos. And Alex, right at the end of spring training, the team announced Jose Bautista back to right field. Talk about that process and how that unfolded.
Sure. When we signed Edwin Encarnacion in the offseason, we were going off his playing weight of last year, what we'd seen of the last 2 years in the organization. And a lot of the appeal was the fact that we wanted to give Adam Lind a chance to play first base. We didn't know if he could do it. We thought there was a chance, but there was no guarantees. So we needed to protect ourselves. If Adam Lind didn't show us enough defensively in the spring, at least midway through, Edwin Encarnacion could take the reins. Once Adam showed us that he could play first base, we think he's going to be very solid there. And then we started to incorporate Edwin at third with his weight loss and his body and the way he looks. He made so many strides, and we wanted to continue to watch him and continue to see the strides he made on the backfields. And ultimately, we felt putting Jose Bautista, who could be a Gold Glove right fielder, we have a guy like Encarnacion with a revamped body at third, who we think could be an average defensive player, and Lynn with the improvements at first, we're probably a stronger club.
Travis Snider bounces it foul, and you talk about a power potential. Just 21 home runs a year ago with limited at-bats for Encarnacion.
It's really incredible. I mean, he had, like you said, 21 home runs and 300 at-bats. If you can get him 600 at-bats, and look, the last few years he's been banged up. He's had a wrist problem. I put on some weight because he had a firecracker go off in his face. So it's certainly not something to laugh about, but he just had a rough go of it. But the power is certainly there. It's as good as it gets. And I've said it before, I will not be shocked if he hits 30 home runs.
That's a good round number. Travis Snider fouls it out of place. Stay tuned. Coming up, a connected update with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the brand new BlackBerry broadcast studio here at Rogers Center. Right after this half inning. Full count pitch from Pavano. Lead off walk. There seems to be a mindset in this lineup, and we've seen it all spring long. The hitters have an approach of just take whatever the pitcher will give you. Do you sense that these guys are really, they've bought into the John Farrell offensive program?
I think so, and I think it all started with Cito Gaston and then carried on to Dwayne Murphy. And I learned a lot and about having a plan at the plate. And all the years I've been in baseball, and they're not that many, but the 6 or 7 years prior to being around Cito, no one had talked about a plan. And I think it started with Cito. Dwayne Murphy's carried it over. John Farrell's certainly a believer, and you're starting to see it more and more.
Rajay Davis spoke to us in the spring about that. He said hitting becomes so much easier when you eliminate pitches and have an idea. Having said that, at the big league level, is that something you want to incorporate down in the minor leagues?
Yeah, we've talked about it. We actually have, we call him a performance coach. It's a guy named Steve Springer. He has a hitting CD. He played. He talks a lot about the mental side of the game and the approach. And we've talked about how far we can incorporate that. Because at the lower levels of the minor leagues, guys just need to get into their swings a little bit. There's more of the mechanical side. But as they move up, the mental side and the approach is incredibly important. And I think there's scouting opportunities for us to identify players that may not have an approach like a Davis, get them into our organization, and maybe see them flourish.
Juan Rivera hits it hard toward left field. Young on the run, makes the catch. Snider is headed back to first, and he'll slide back in safely. One out. You mentioned Rajay Davis. John Buck was a perfect example of a player that benefited from a new atmosphere, and he turned that into a lucrative 3-year contract with the Marlins. That's a great point about being able to identify somebody that might benefit from some guidance and direction.
Certainly, it's so hard to acquire players, whether it's free agency, whether it's in the draft. You're not going to get them when they're doing well. You have to take a shot and do it a little bit earlier. And certainly we'll see what kind of season Rajay has, but we certainly felt there was enough there to give him a multi-year contract, even not having had him on the homework that we did. And Wayne Morgan, one of our scouts, and Jim Scanlon, one of our scouts as well, they certainly pounded the table for him and believed in him. And they were a big part of him coming here.
Wayne Morgan, he signed me.
He did a job.
A long time ago. I have to ask you today, you talked about Aaron Hill. Describe and tell everybody what that was all about with his contract.
Sure. No, the way the contract was structured when it was done, the thought, like any player, he wanted to try to limit the number of free agent years available, and the upside for the club and the benefit of guaranteeing his contract was to have that availability for the free agent years. And
J.P. Arancibia to center field. This ball is gone. J.P. Arancibia, he hits the first Jays home run of the season.
Not too shabby for a number 9 hitter. They still have plenty of power.
Who needs spring training?
He was telling us that, let's turn the page. Forget about spring training. That was a learning experience. That shows you the type of thunder that is in that young man's bat right there as he turns around this pitch from Pavano. hanging breaking ball, and he mashes it to center field. No doubt about it. Got a slide uppercut, and he is watching Span, the center fielder, turn his back and run out of real estate.
So much rests on his shoulders. He's put a lot of pressure on himself all throughout the early part of spring, knowing he's going to get an extended opportunity to run with this job.
Sure, and he's someone that I got asked about him a lot in the spring. I know the batting average is in the low 100s, I believe. And I talked to him, and I got to tell you, he walked around like he was hitting 400. And it's a great thing to see. And I remember I used the Aaron Hill example back when he was hitting 180 in late May, his first season up. And with JP, well, the one thing, even though the hits weren't falling for him, he doesn't normally walk, and he led our team in walks in spring training, and that's pretty telling that he stuck with his plan and he had an approach, and it was a timing thing. I even told him I thought he had a great spring. Forget the numbers. And I certainly saw him in the clubhouse before the game, and he said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Yeah." "Are you ready to win 100 games?" And I laughed. I said, "He goes, I'm serious. You ready to win 100 games?" I said, "All right, let's go." So he's got a swagger to him. He's got a confidence to him. And I was talking to Vernon Wells after he got traded. Confidence in this game, because I didn't play, but I didn't realize the importance of believing in yourself is such a large component, and he certainly got it.
And J.P. Arancibia has played high-profile baseball his whole life. University of Tennessee, Team USA in the amateur ranks, and now he's going to get a chance to run with the everyday job here with the Blue Jays.
Before he interrupted our discussion about Aaron Hill, you were talking about Aaron.
Sure, no, and Aaron's someone we think is going to be here for a long time. And like I said, the way the contract was structured, to not make it easy on the club to pick up those free agent years, the option decision on 3 years was made a year earlier to make it certainly more problematic for the club, and also put at a salary level that was going to be high to protect the player if he was coming off an MVP season or something like that. But the flexibility also needed there for the club at the end of the 4 years to be able to pick up those options at 8 and 8. So with Aaron, we expect him to have a great year. We hope he does. We realize it's not a guarantee, but we certainly have the ability at the end of the season to have him for 2 more years. And I don't think there's anything that stops us from being able to call up his agent and adding a 3rd or a 4th year at that time.
Now you can see how Hill fits into this ball club. He is one of the more senior players here, and he's been through a tough season a year ago, and now he knows that he can help J.P. Arancibia with the adjustments of playing in the big leagues for the first year.
Sure, and you never want to see someone go through those type of seasons, and Adam Lind as well, but I think it makes you a better player when it's all said and done, because it's going to happen. I don't care who you are. Very few players do not have down years or bad seasons, and you learn from them, as trying as they might be. So it's good that he got his out of the way.
Off-speed pitch. Davis goes down on strikes. 2 outs. There's a buzz in this stadium, and it started with the pregame ceremonies, the introduction of Pat Gillick and Roberto Alomar. But talk about your thoughts about what Gillick meant to this organization, what Alomar meant to this organization. You saw it from afar from Montreal at that point.
Sure, I didn't realize at the time. I didn't know anything about Pat Gillick. I didn't know anything about GMs, to be honest with you. But certainly now I got a chance to run into him, whether it's the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, whether it's spring training, whether it's certain events. And I can't say enough about him. I know he's not Canadian, but he pretty much is. Goes back to the Hall of Fame. Is proud to have been part of this organization. And I guess the one thing I could say from a selfish standpoint, I wish I could have worked with him. I wish I could have been around him. I try to pick his brain, but I'm careful because it's he's all Hall of Famer. So I'm very respectful around him, and anytime I get with him is great. And we are the city and the country lucked out in having this guy as part of the club.
Escobar goes down on strikes. Alex, thanks for your time. It's great to have you here. Now it's time for a Connected Update with Jamie and Greg, live from the brand new Blackberry broadcast studio here at Rogers Center. center. He didn't play many games last year, and after a terrific debut against Tampa Bay in August, this is what he had to deal with in September.
4 starts. That's the good news. You get 4 starts. The bad news is, look who you get to face. David Price, John Lester, King Felix, and CC Sabathia. But why would he be complaining? 3 of those guys are left-handed.
No, they're not. They're not left-handed.
Doesn't matter with those guys.
How about that? Lester, Price, Sabathia. And just for good measure, how about King Felix, who won the Cy Young? 3rd home run came in the 4th inning. He's got to feel like the weight of the world has been taken off his shoulders. Michael Kadire had a single off Ricky Romero. His first time up, pulled it through the left side of the infield. Kadire didn't have an awful lot of at-bats in the spring. He had a plantar's wart removed from his foot in spring training. It took a long time to heal, and he didn't get many at-bats. But he's a veteran hitter. Kadire, now 32 years old, has a pretty simple approach to hitting. Uses a big part of the field. He's got power to the opposite field in right center.
Can play all over. Played some first base when Morneau went on the disabled list last year. Has played some third base also, but looks very comfortable in right field. There are the home run numbers from 2009 to 2010.
32 to just 14 a year ago. And that's kind of consistent when you look at the Twins roster. That reflects moving into Target Field for the first year. A much more pitcher-friendly ballpark than the Metrodome. And the Twins hitters had some problems adjusting to it. Off-speed pitch, pulled foul. Joe Vavra, the hitting coach for the Twins, recognized a lot of the hitters, including Kadire, became very pull conscious. Twins hit just 52 home runs at Target Field a year ago. They were one of the few teams that was thrilled to go on the road. Romero strikes out Kadire with an off-speed pitch to start the 5th.
So what happens when you try and hit home runs in big ballparks? Your swing starts to slow down.
And you pull off the ball just like Kadire did there on that off-speed pitch, trying to generate power by altering your swing. Romero with 4 strikeouts. And fastball inside. Jason Kubel, the DH, one of the strikeout victims, back in the 2nd.
It's just a team, the Minnesota Twins, that can hit. Last year, even with Kubel and Morneau, Mauer and Span, all those left-handed hitters, they had a great record against left-handed starters. One of the best in all of baseball. Last year, 32-14 versus a left-handed starter, including in that a 16-5 record on the road versus left-handed starters. And you mentioned a couple of them in the American League, and there are a lot of good ones.
Yeah, and you just look at the American League East with Lester in Boston, Price in Tampa Bay, CC Sabathia. And you go to the Central, you got to deal with John Danks with the White Sox. Mark Burley, the veteran, who opened up the season for Chicago, his 9th consecutive opening day start for the White Sox. Romero comes all the way back and throws a strike. It's 3-1.
Oakland has a few good left-handers also. Cliff Lee pitched for Texas last year, but it didn't seem to bother the Minnesota Twins.
Popped up. Hill calls for it in shallow center.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Are you ready for the next generation Civic?
Danny Valencia, the young third baseman, bats with 2 outs. J.P. Arencibia thought that was a strike. You could see the double clutch as he was prepared to throw it back. A couple of times they've thrown pitches and felt like they were strikes. Joe West didn't agree.
Remember last year at this time we were talking with John Buck, and he was saying Ricky Romero is so difficult to catch because his ball moves all over the place. I haven't seen that from J.P. Arencibia so far tonight.
He just did something there that's very interesting, going down to one knee to give the target, and I like that. There's no reason with nobody on to stay in a traditional crouch. He bent down on his left knee just to give Ricky Romero a better target to focus in on. Line drive left field. Travis Snider over near the line. Ricky Romero has another 1-2-3 inning. Romero's in a groove. He's retired the last 7 Twins he's faced. Blue Jays lead at 6-0 here at Rogers. You can always get the game on Sportsnet Radio, The Fan 590. 590.com and across Canada on Blue Jays Radio Network. Jerry Howarth and Alan Ashby won't let you miss a thing. So if you can't watch TV, turn to the radio. Jerry Howarth in his 30th season as the radio voice of the Blue Jays. He came to the Blue Jays in 1981 and had an outstanding career. Jose Bautista asks for time and gets it. Looks like Joe West is saying that's a little bit too late. He gave it to him that time. I don't think they called the pitch, but you can see West is a little bit rattled that Bautista stepped out so late. Swing and a drive left field. This ball is out of here.
Picking up where he left off last year. Jose Bautista picks on one. It looked like a changeup from Bravano, and he's got a very good one. Steps out to gather himself and then does this. Off speed and bye-bye. No doubt about it in the second deck in left field.
Reminiscent of so many swings a year ago. Gets that foot down, the head doesn't move, and he tosses the bat away. Number 1 for Bautista. Jose hit only 4 home runs last April as he started out the season as the leadoff hitter. And then Fred Lewis was acquired in a trade April 15th. Bautista moved out of that spot, but eventually hitting 7 different spots in the order.
Had to take advantage of all those home runs with runners on base. Just like J.P. Arencibia the inning before, he gets that first one out of the way early in the season. Opening night.
Blue Jays scored 4 runs on 2 hits, a double steal and 2 sac flies in the first. And now they've contributed 2 home runs to the offense. Adam Lind had a sac fly. Actually had an RBI on a hit by pitch in the first. 7-0 Blue Jays. On speed pitch. Long drive right field. Adam Lind has just gone upper deck.
You know, when you can't locate and you can't blow the ball by hitters, you've got to be able to get the ball down. Carl Pavano last year gave up 24 home runs in his 221 innings. Had a great season, but tonight he is just not locating his pitches. They wanted to go in, but it was up and in. And Adam Lind turns on it. Got every bit of that one.
That's a pitch he couldn't get to last year. He didn't have the ability to get his hands through on that up and in pitch, and he hammered that ball.
And the troubles continue for Carl Pavano in this ballpark. An ERA of about 8 here at Rogers Center, and his night is going to be over here in the 5th inning.
5 plus 2 batters, and he leaves the Rogers Center mound. Jeff Manship will come out of the Twins bullpen. Day presented by Rogers Sportsnet. This Sunday, April 3rd, when the Blue Jays take on the Minnesota Twins in the series finale, the game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Jose Bautista bobblehead doll. Call 416-341-1234 for tickets, or you can log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Jeff Manship, the right-hander, comes out of the bullpen with nobody out here in the 5th. The Blue Jays have gone back-to-back to start the 5th inning, and he takes over for Carl Pavano.
Just 13 games last year for Manship. He did not make the team out of spring training, spent a month down in AAA. And then came up on May the 1st, made a start for them, then moved to the bullpen. Minnesota Twins have the luxury of having a couple of long men in that bullpen who can go deep. Kevin Slowey, Perkins, and Manship can give you multiple innings.
Aaron Hill's had a good start to his season, 1 for 1 with a sac fly and a double. What do you see different early on in the approach of Aaron Hill at the plate than you saw last year?
I think he's under control a little bit more, Buck. Last year it seemed like he was swinging at pitches out of the strike zone, at times wildly swinging at pitches everywhere. Now he is under control, and the bat is staying on that hitting plane a lot longer.
Well, he grounds out sharply to the shortstop there, but you take a look at the power production, number 4 and 5 in the order going back to 2009. They did a lot of damage, but different story last season.
Look at just the RBIs, 82 less last year between Lind and Hill. And I think Alex Anthopoulos said it right. Those aren't the type of hitters that he knows that they are. And I'd be surprised to see that again from them. I think it's somewhere between 2009 and 2010 are the type of hitters and type of players that those two guys are.
Lind hit 50 points lower than his career average, and Hill hit 65 points below his career average, so you have to expect they're going to bounce back. Edwin Encarnacion. His sac fly came to center field in the first. Pops this one up, foul territory. Morneau on the run. Runs out of room. Next half inning, we'll have Pat Gillick, the former general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, author of 3 World Series championship ball clubs, back-to-back World Series winners here, 92 and 93, in the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies. He will be with us when we come back to Rogers Center after this half inning. Going into the Hall of Fame with Robbie Alomar and Bert Blyleven in July at Cooperstown.
Don't forget about the great teams he built in Seattle and the great teams he built in Baltimore after he left Toronto.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Down and away, full count. Pat Gillick was the last to author a win for the Blue Jays, the last for Seattle, and last for the Orioles. And at one time, he was the last for the Phillies until Lamar won again last year. So he's all about putting good teams together. There's no question about that. And you heard Alex Anthopoulos talk about wanting to bend his ear a little bit.
How could you not? How could you not want to try and listen to what he did to build those great ball clubs that you just see up there?
That's one of the best trades ever made, bringing Roberto Alomar here from the San Diego Padres. Encarnacion having a good at bat.
He's seeing it. 3-2, guessing fastball, and he's getting it from Manchin. He won't overpower you. He got away with a high fastball right there to Edwin Encarnacion.
Pops this one up on the infield. All 4 infielders converging. Casilla trips on the mound and stays with it and makes the catch. Appears to be okay, but he stumbled just before he caught that ball. Great concentration by the Twins shortstop.
Well, you're right. You got that mound in the middle of the play right there. It goes up. You're concentrating so much on that ball, and he's got a long way to go. Look, he breaks back, and now he's got a long way to go. You're not thinking about that mound, and as you reach up to try and get the ball, your feet trip over that dirt. Heads up play by Casilla to stay with it.
He did a heck of a job staying upright, and he caught it. Travis Snyder takes an off-speed pitch for a strike. Snyder's been on base twice, reached on an error in the first, walked and scored in the fourth. Pretty good depth to your lineup when you can have the power potential of Snyder in the 7th spot and Juan Rivera in the 8th spot, not to mention J.P. Arancibia batting 9th.
32 home runs in AAA, and you come up here and, okay, thank you for a great year. You're hitting 9th.
Hey, that's life in the American League East.
Telling you.
A lot of deep lineups. Opening day has always been good for the Blue Jays. 25-9 in season openers. The home opener for the Blue Jays. A good job getting the fans into it.
Best in baseball. 75% of the time they win.
Full count, 2 down. Blue Jays out in front, 8-0. They have scored 8 runs on just 6 hits. Two steals, 2 sacrifice flies, 2 home runs, 3 home runs now, 2 with this inning. And the first of the season by the reigning home run champ in the big leagues, Jose Bautista. A no-doubter to left center. Snyder walks for a second time.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Are you ready for the next generation Civic?
Rogers Center is packed. An opening night crowd that was treated to a pregame ceremony honoring Jose Bautista's great home run season and 3 Hall of Fame inductees. Juan Rivera in his first game in a Blue Jays uniform. Signed with the Yankees out of Venezuela as a 16-year-old. 32 years old, had a 15 home run season a year ago with the Angels. Rivera stands close to the plate, uses his hands very well. He pulls the ball very effectively, but he does it with his hands out in front. Doesn't really open up the front side at all.
Long arms, long bat. Just watch him also adjust from pitch to pitch. 2-0, you know he's sitting on something hard.
Big swing and a miss, had the count in his favor.
But you watch him now as he gets into at bats, and he'll try and shoot balls to right center field. He'll spread out just a little bit more at the plate, shorten his swing up. Hole on the right infield.
Juan Rivera spent some time in Montreal 2004 with the Expos. He hit .307. Played in 134 games. Hit 12 home runs for Montreal. Looks away from an inside fastball. Back-to-back walks here with 2 outs.
Number 9,
The Blue Jays would like to recognize Owen Mullen, who has been a season ticket holder since 1977. As of last week, he planned on coming to the home opener tonight, but he's experienced some health issues, and this will be the first home opener that he has ever missed. Owen, we know you're watching tonight's game, so on behalf of the Blue Jays and Rogers Sportsnet, we want to say thank you, and get well soon and get back to the ballpark.
There's nothing like being at the ballpark.
J.P. Arencibia hit his first home run of the season last time up, a deep 2-run homer to center field. There's no question about his power. Off-speed pitch.
He's another hitter that you see up and down the lineup for the Blue Jays that doesn't have to go up there and try and hit home runs. He's got the home run, the natural uppercut swing, and he's plenty powerful enough. Ray Murphy likes those types of hitters who go up there, have an idea, swing hard, but have an idea.
0-2, just off the plate outside. Well, it really helps the hitting coach when you have a lineup that buys into your theory. And then you have young players like Aaron Sevilla come up and join the ball club, and they just have to step in line. Pops this one out of play.
The home run from Aaron Sevilla back in the 4th inning. Watch him. He's got that natural uppercut swing. He can get the ball. He can lift the ball. A lot of his home runs are going to be long fly balls because he's got that strength. They're not the Jose Bautista type of home runs, those laser line drives. They're going to be high arcing home runs because of that strength that he has in his hands.
Manship took a little bit too much time. But it certainly has to relax J.P. Arencibia to know that he can homer in this ballpark and do it to center field. One of his 2 home runs last year went to right center. Doesn't have to pull it to hit it out. Back into the at bat at 2-2. Snyder walked with 2 outs. He's at second. Juan Rivera walked right behind him. Blue Jays have scored 2 this inning on back-to-back home runs by Jose Bautista and Adam Lind. Another drive to center field. Span on his horse. Off the wall. Snyder comes in to score. Right behind him, Rivera's going to score all the way from first base, and Aaron Sevilla will end up at third with a triple.
There's that power swing again from the young catcher out of number 9 slot. Manship tries to throw a ball by him, but he smokes it to center field. Span thinks he has it, but then runs out of room. And by the time it bounces off that wall and all the way back into the infield, Aaron Sevilla has got a couple more RBIs in his first big league triple.
Interesting thing about that at bat, he was behind 0-2. Took a couple of close pitches and ends up with a triple to go along with his home run. Look at the smile from Butterfield, the third base coach. Everybody knows it was a tough spring mentally for J.P. Arencibia with the bat.
Well, he spent so much of the spring working with Don Wakamatsu on his receiving skills, calling the game, taking command defensively for this team, that I think he lost out on the one weapon that really helped him to get to the big leagues, and that's his bat.
Well, it looks like it's back.
Just in time.
And it's a good place to hide, batting 9th in this lineup. Back to the top of the order, Rajai Davis with Aaron Sevilla at third. Davis got the night off and running with a ground ball base hit right to the shortstop. He beat the throw at first. He's seeing the ball well tonight.
Yeah, you can just tell the way he tracks the ball all the way into the catcher's glove.
(3-0).
Left side of that infield also, but playing him to pull like a big power hitter. There's a huge hole right back through the middle. Watch where Casilla, the shortstop, ends up.
And look how much more shallow he is now in the 4th at bat compared to the 1st at bat back in the 1st inning. He recognized the speed of Davis, and he's had to play a double play down.
Yeah, it was a one-hop line drive that he picked at short, but Davis beat it out.
Let's go back to the 1st inning. Notice where the shortstop is, right on the back line at deep short. A sharp hit ball, and Davis simply outruns it because Casilla was a step too deep. shortened up dramatically. It just changes the personality of the lineup for the Blue Jays when you have the speed top of the infield. Talk about it from an infielder's perspective, how that limits your range.
Well, and you also know that you have to be perfect. You can't bobble. You have to be aggressive. When a guy who can run like that, you almost have to be perfect on the infield to get the out at first base if there's ground or two. So it puts that added pressure on.
Fastball gets Davis. He goes down for a second time tonight. Blue Jays all over the Twins. They lead 10-0. When we come back to Rogers Center, we'll be joined by Hall of Famer Pat Gillick. He's honoring Roberto Alomar and Pat Gillick, two inductees into the Baseball Hall of Fame 2011 at Cooperstown. And we are pleased to be joined now by the former Blue Jays GM, Pat Gillick. And Pat, congratulations, first of all. And it's got to be quite pleasing to you to be honored here in Toronto, a place that you worked for so many years.
Yeah, it's very fortunate that I had an opportunity to be here tonight. Great crowd, a great game for the home club, and you know, just hope that we can continue to play the way they had tonight and put up those runs. You put up 10 runs every night, you got a chance to win.
Did I hear you say we?
Yeah, well, we're here and we're in the American League.
That's awesome.
If I was in the National League, be talking about the Phillies, but we're here in the American League, and I'd like nothing better than maybe the Phillies and the Blue Jays to meet in the World Series.
That'd be a pretty good way to wrap up the end of this season. Pat, talk a little bit about the start. When you started out here in '77, did you ever imagine that things would lead to 1992 and '93 back-to-back World Series?
Well, you always had that hope that something like that would materialize, and the thing that was really great was that the ownership, the fans, the media were very patient with us and gave us an opportunity to develop the club. And then finally, we got that first division championship in '85, and I thought we should have, closed that thing out against Kansas City, but we didn't. And then it took a while to get back there again. I got back there in '89 and got back there in '91, and then finally '92 we got over the hump.
Pat, talk a little bit about those early years when you were with the Blue Jays, building a ball club. Other teams, what did they say to you? Like, well, you don't have any players, I don't want to deal with you. And then you had to deal with them 10 years later when you had a great team. What was it like putting together a team from scratch?
Well, it was a great opportunity, and a great opportunity for our scouts. And I know the first 3 or 4 years we were into it, other GMs, I'd hear, you guys got the worst looking bunch that I've ever seen. And we were pretty bad, but then really 81, we kind of, even though we didn't win a lot of games and that was a strike year, we kind of looked like we turned the corner a little bit. I think the guys within the organization, Bob Maddox, Al Lamacchia, Bob Engel, Guerrero, and people like that, we felt we kind of were reaching there. And then in '82 when Cox came on board, things really started to materialize. So
that was the year you acquired Buck Martinez.
That was
right?
the
That's
big
when it
turning
turned
point.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. Buck and Ernie and Rance and Garth, we had Bobby used to play them, used against right and left-handers, and they did a terrific job. And we got a lot of use out of all that tandem. It was great.
All right, let's talk about maybe the most dramatic trade this organization's ever made. It came in December of '90, but first let's check out Junel Escobar. Just can't throw out Denard Spann. He did everything he could do, made a strong throw, but Spann simply outran the throw from shortstop. But let's talk a little bit about the trade. December 1990, you make a trade and you trade away Fred McGriff and Tony Fernandez. People around here were wondering, what the heck's Gillick doing?
Yeah, that's always been, the story's always gone. We were in Chicago, and I was coming back from Chicago, and I called my wife and told her what we'd done, and she didn't believe it. And she said, you better get home before you screw up the team any worse. And but it's kind of funny, and that was a big part of things that happened. But prior to that, which people never talk about, we got Devon White from the Angels. So it was kind of a situation where we got Devon White, and Junior Felix was involved in that. We got Devon White, and then we got Robbie, and then we got Joe Carter, and all of a sudden we became a little bit more athletic than we were, with Devon in center, Robbie at second. So overall, it was a very productive winter in 1990.
Was that the idea of becoming a little bit more athletic when you acquired the two from San Diego? Yeah,
well, when we're playing at the other place, we had to be athletic on turf, and we knew coming in here, this was a much larger park than the one over at the Exhibition Stadium, and so consequently we knew we were going to have guys that could cut balls off in the alleys and turn triples into doubles and things like that. So getting more athletic, it was a big part of the game plan. But getting good players was another part of the game plan. That's why we got Tabler and Martinez.
Yeah, all right. We're right at the top of the list, I'm sure. But you have to talk about the way that this became a destination for great players. When you came around to 1992, you had the Molitors, and you had Dave Stewart, Jack Morris, Ricky Henderson, David Cohn, on and on and on. When did you recognize that you had built an organization that players wanted to come and play here in Toronto?
Well, that was kind of by design, and really, with Paul and myself and the rest of the scouts, was that we said if we get a good nucleus and we get attractive, that's the time to go after free agents, not before that time. So that's when we got guys like Jack Morris and Winfield and Paul Molitor and Dave Stewart. They were attracted to come here because we had a good club on the field, and they knew they had a chance to win. Prior to that time, it was really kind of foolish to try to go after people like that.
Do you see some similarities to what's going on in the organization now for the Blue Jays than that 10-year period? Yeah,
I do. And, the three kids that they got from us in the Halliday deal, we hated to give up all three of them. And they all got a chance to be big leaguers, and I think one of the young men's going to pitch here tomorrow. And and those are three really good players, I think, potential players that they got from us. As they go up the ladder, as you all know, they have to make adjustments, and they make the adjustments. Those guys are going to play in the big league. So I think in signing a few other free agents, what I'm saying, amateur free agents, I think that's just going to build their nucleus. And once they get good, then most of the players around the league and the agents they'll know that they're on their way, and this again will be a destination point.
Pat, you've been a GM for 27 years in the big leagues. Do you see baseball trending back to speed and defense even more than we've seen in the past?
Yeah, as you guys know, I'm not much of a statistic guy, but the runs scored in both leagues, American and National, went down last year, and so consequently I see it going back, that we're not going to have as much offense, and that really your offense is going to be your defense. So defense is pitching and being athletic on the field. So I think they're going to be a lot more interesting 3-1, 2-1, 4-3 games than they are going to be, similar tonight where it's 10-0. This is really a good display of power, and They swung the bat real well tonight, and Pavano's helped them. He's hung a few sliders, too.
So if you are drafted and you've got a hitter and a pitcher, and they're both pretty equal. Who do you take?
Hitter.
You take hitter over pitcher?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a heck of a lot more arms out there than there are position players. Position players are, very difficult to find. I mean, not say anything about what gone on before here, but you've got Snyder and you've got Lynn and you've got Aaron Sebia from the last 8 years. That's I can see the only 3 position players that you have on the field in 8 years. And you got some arms. You got Romero and you got Cecil and guys like that. But position player wise, there's not a lot of position players coming through in the last 8 years. So consequently, I think you got to add position players.
When you look at the organization now, there's a chance that there'll be 5 new players within the next year and a half with Anthony Gose, who you know very well. Yeah. You look at Travis d'Ormeau from the Phillies also. Right. Brett Laurie, Eric Thames. There's a lot of position prospects coming along now.
And I think that's important. As I say, I think there's a lack of position players. I've always felt that the 3rd, 4th round you could pick up some arms, and there's guys come around. Position players, if you don't get them early in the draft, the real good ones, you're not going to get one.
Well, you talk about a real good one right there. Ricky Romero strikes out Joe Mauer with 2 runners on and 1 out. What a great pitch he throws to Mauer.
Well, he's got a lot of weapons that he can go to. This is a pitch to a pretty good hitter, a .327 career hitter out of the strike zone. He gets Mauer to chase it for his 6th strikeout tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a great job. Ricky Romero, the first couple of years, it looked like, well, maybe this wasn't the right draft to make, but it certainly was, because he's certainly come around, and he's one of the really up-and-coming young left-handers in the American League.
When you see a pitcher like Romero, who now gets opening day start, do you think back to what it means to have a core guy like this at the top of your order, how it impacts the rest of the staff?
You got to have him. You got to have him. You got to have a guy like this that you can count on and can go to the post. I mean, we're fortunate more on a veteran basis, that we've got Halladay and Lee and Oswalt and guys like that can go to the post. But it's always I mean, there's some confidence by the rest of the team that they don't have to score a lot of runs to win. Tonight, the way he's pitching, he could have probably scored 2 runs and won this ballgame.
2 outs, 2 on. 1-1 count to Justin Morneau. On the ground, Lynn gives ground. It's a fair ball. Romero's there at first. Morneau's retired. Romero gets out of it. Strands repair. Pat Gillick, thank you so much for joining us. All
nice to be with you.
Have a good time in Cooperstown.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Pat Gillick going into the Hall of Fame with Roberto Alomar. Man, he traded for. Pre-game ceremonies very emotional for 2 key players in the Blue Jays history. In command tonight, Strands of Paris strikes out the 6th batter tonight. The girl on the right, that's Rima Fakih, Miss USA 2010, and the young lady that she's given a hug to, that's Ricky Romero's little sister, Vanessa. And Rima and Ricky Romero are dating. And she is here tonight. She is the reigning Miss USA. She won last year. And Ricky met her last year in New York. She and Ricky were introduced by a mutual friend. And Ricky Romero said, our first date, she came to Yankee Stadium when I pitched a 2-hit complete game against New York.
Stay hot, Ricky. Stay hot. He's got a 4-hit shutout going tonight.
So now when he asked us in their final spring training game who was the best looking guy on the starting staff, I guess we got to say it's Ricky Romero.
He wins.
Here's the line from the night. No walks, 6 strikeouts, 78 pitches through 6 innings of work. He and JP Arencibia have certainly been on the same page tonight.
Well, that last inning shows you what Ricky Romero was made of. Got himself into trouble, and he's got Mauer and Morneau. Strikes one out and gets the other one to ground out to first base.
It's something that Romero has improved upon over his first 2 seasons, handling left-handed hitters. Glenn Perkins, the left-hander, in here to work the 6th inning. Jeff Manship came in after back-to-back home runs were allowed by Carl Pavano to start the 5th. Manship was charged with 2 runs in his inning of work. Big bouncer to the shortstop, Casilla. Ricky Romero was involved in a Nike commercial that featured his hometown of East Los Angeles. That's Ricardo Romero, his father, also involved in the commercial. Just showed Ricky's background growing up in East LA. And there's Vanessa, the Nike commercial, very popular. It aired initially at the NBA All-Star game in Los Angeles. And Ricky was very proud to highlight his upbringing in East LA. There's a little flare in the right field. Bautista has his 2nd hit of the night. Jose Bautista been on base 3 times tonight. Hit his first home run leading off the 5th. Now he has a single.
You have to respect the power, but when he is beaten by this pitch on the inner half, it's going to find Pater in right field because the outfielders have to play so deep.
Adam Linz had another good opening day. He was hit by a pitch in the 1st. That drove in a run. Then he hit a solo home run behind Bautista in the 5th. His last 2 opening days, 7 for 8, 2 home runs, 7 RBI. We're going to tell him it's opening day tomorrow.
Detroit, I remember a couple of years ago, he wore out the Tigers on opening day.
Hot shot to Hopper. Casilla to 2nd for 1. Back to first, double play. Glenn Perkins does a good job of erasing a 1-out base hit. Gets the double play off the bat. The Blue Jays go quietly in the 6th. Zone are members of the Canadian Armed Forces. The TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. We're pleased to have members of the Canadian Armed Forces here tonight participating in opening night, and they've been treated to quite a show. Blue Jays have scored 10 runs on 8 hits. Delman Young singles into center field. Young's first hit of the night. Ricky Romero working into the 7th inning in his season debut.
Last year, in his first game against the Texas Rangers, Romero worked 7 innings. And in that game, you remember, he was in total command. Blue Jays just couldn't score many runs, and he ended up with a no decision. Strong tonight as he works into the 7th inning.
He bounced a wild pitch in that game that led to the only run he allowed, and Cito Gaston came to the mound. Romero was ready to hand him the ball. Then Cito said, "No, this is your game, Ricky," and he stayed out there. He had a good start to his season a year ago, went 2-1 in April. Michael Cuddyer takes a fastball right in on the corner, 1-1. Romero still has good zip on his fastball.
One of the things that he can't think about now as he pitches into the 7th inning is the score. Right now, he's got to be thinking, okay, it's 0-0. I've got to execute my pitches. That ball in the dirt. And Young will move up.
Aaron Seavey did a good job of blocking this ball. He couldn't locate it once he blocked it.
It's the one pitch that he hasn't really had tonight. That good overhand curveball. He's bounced a couple of them tonight. Aaron Seavey blocks it. Can't find it. Young will move up. The ball players, when they look at the scoreboard and they say 10-0, they have a tendency of maybe like easing off the gas pedal a little bit, and then you start getting the ball flying all over the place.
Now Ricky's come out of his delivery on the last 2 pitches, tried to throw his curveball too hard, bounced it, and then reached back for a little extra on the fastball and threw it well out of the strike zone. Now he's dealing with a full count to Cuddyer.
Good time here for a changeup.
Exactly what he throws him. Cuddyer said he foul tipped it, but Aaron Seavey hangs on for the strikeout. That's strikeout number 7 for Romero.
He might have foul tipped it. I think he was arguing that the ball hit the dirt, but watch Aaron Seavey go down and get that one. Tracks that changeup, the depth and the movement on that off-speed pitch. Romero picks up strikeout number 7.
Big night for the hitters, big night for Ricky Romero. Jason Kubel swings and drives it to right field. Bautista on the run, can't make the catch. Young had to hold his ground at second. He can only move up to third. Kubel has his first hit. So the Twins are threatening first and third, 1 out.
You got to think if he had more innings in the outfield in spring training, he makes this play. It's a playable ball. Right at him, turns his glove over. Right there. More of a basket catch type of play, but he spent a couple of innings in the outfield this spring.
Casey Jansen, the right-hander, loosening up behind Romero. Boy, Jansen threw the ball well all spring long. A good job by Aaron Seavey smothering that breaking ball. Romero looks like he might be at the end of the line. The emotions of his first opening day start maybe robbing him a little bit of his legs here.
Yeah, 88 pitches. You know, he's got a little bit, but you're right. You can see it start to happen last inning. Come out of it just a little bit with those back-to-back base hits in the 6th inning, but then he bared down and got Mauer and Morneau.
Danny Valencia, the third baseman. John Farrell in his first game as manager, enjoying a 10-run lead. A ball and 2 strikes. Romero would love to get a ground ball to end this inning. Double play, get him out of the jam.
Looking for something on the ground, so that good off-speed pitch, something going down and away. Maybe Valencia will get too excited.
Ricky Romero drawing the opening day start. His 2 seasons have been good, but look how dramatically he's improved in every aspect. It's important for pitchers.
Yeah, and the big one is that last one, the whip. That's walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. It's going down. Anything right around 1 is very good. It's going down each year.
Ground ball to third. Encarnacion bobbles it. All hands are going to be safe. Edwin Encarnacion got ahead of himself in a rush to get that ball to second. Lost the handle. And he's charged with an error. Twins score.
Yeah, you want to help your pitcher out so much that you get a little ahead of yourself. Caught the ball, and as he transfers it, squirts out of his glove. Just want to catch the ball and make a good throw. It's the first thing you want to do when you start that double play. That time he got a little quick, and the inning stays alive.
Valencia will be credited with an RBI. Put the ball in play. Don't assume the ground ball is going to turn into a double play, so he picks up the RBI. First and second. Lexi Casilla takes his strike. Romero up to 95 pitches. He's had to work extra in this inning. John Farrell would love to see him get out of this inning and finish his first start. 7 strong innings. Base hit just inside the bag. Casilla ends up with a double. Kubel comes around to score. It's 2-0. 10-2 Blue Jays.
And John Farrell makes his way to the mound. You're right. I would think that he would want him to get 7 strong, but he's thinking about, he's done a great job tonight. He has taken his team into the 7th inning with the lead. He'll leave on that note and turn it over to Casey Janssen.
Starts at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Time with Jays on Sportsnet. Jamie Camel, Greg Zahn will be right here in the stadium at the BlackBerry Broadcast Studio inside Rogers Center. It'll be Francisco Liriano against Kyle Drabek in Game 2 of this 3-game series.
Should be a lot of fun. Two youngsters with great arms and a great future.
Casey Janssen on with one out here.
What a spring. You mentioned it when we showed him warming up. 10 innings. He averages about a strikeout per inning. He pounds the strike zone. ERA of 1.74 in the spring. He only walked 2 batters all spring long.
Good fastball. Span is late on.
Well, right now, all he is thinking about are outs. The runners on base don't mean anything. Blue Jays infield is back, and they will concede the run with 1 out.
Two balls and a strike. Span's had a good night, couple of hits. Had an infield hit his last time up. 2 for 3 to start his season. Two and two. Tough competition all spring long for spots in the bullpen. Frank Francisco and Octavio Dotel start the season on the disabled list, but they are both progressing very quickly and should make a bid to get back here with this ball club.
Bullpen put together the last week of spring training because of the injuries, and Mark Zepchinski moved into the bullpen to give them an extra left-hander down there.
Ground ball, and Adelman has a deal. Toss to Casey Janssen, a little high, but Janssen's able to make the play and record the out. On the put out, Valencia comes in to score the 3rd Twins run of the inning.
That's why you play the infield back. You concede the run with at the time, an 8-run lead. Lynn playing deep. Catch the ball. Make sure you keep your momentum going to first base when you fire that ball over to the pitcher.
Then with a high throw, Jansen's able to make the catch and comes down on the bag for the out. And you can see Lynn was talking to himself. He made a similar toss to David Percy last year, and that's something he'll improve upon with repetition.
Well, there's one way that you can underhand the ball over to first base without doing that. You want to take your wrist out of it, and it's called the dead fish. It's almost like throwing a changeup as a pitcher. You bury the ball deep into the palm of your hand, and you keep your wrist stiff. So when you flip the ball, it just goes right out of your hand. It doesn't flip up into the air. It goes straight. That's one of the little tricks that he'll have to learn as he moves over to first.
Nishioka on the ground. He runs well. What a play by Janssen, and he gets him. Oh, my. What a defensive gem by Casey Janssen to end the inning. He stayed with it, fumbled to find it in his glove, and then shovels it just in time to get Nishioka, who really runs well. What an effort by Janssen. speed boost. Goodbye waiting. Another first only from Rogers.
We don't have to turn the clock back very far. This just happened. Casey Jansen, acting like the infielder that he was when he was in college, lays out to end the inning and get a very fast runner at first base. Jansen showing off his athleticism.
Boy, that's a huge play. Joe Mauer's the next batter if Nishioka keeps the inning alive.
Kevin Slowey comes in for the Minnesota Twins, tonight's fourth pitcher for Ron Gardenhire. How about this for a embarrassment of riches? This guy won 13 games for the Twins last year, and he's now pitching out of the bullpen.
He really threw the ball well. They just ran out of spots in the rotation.
This spring, he is throwing a lot harder, knowing that he doesn't have to get 5, 6, 7 innings out of him. Just an inning or two out of the bullpen, and picks up his first strikeout of the season.
Good breaking ball gets Aaron Hill. But the Twins have always had depth. There's a lot of concern in Minnesota about how they were going to replace some of the people they lost, including John Roush, who's now down in the Blue Jays bullpen. Jesse Crane also chose free agency. Brian Fuentes, the left-hander, ended up in Oakland.
Matt Guerrier. You know, we talked about the Tampa Bay Rays losing a lot of players out of their bullpen. Minnesota, same thing happened to them. They had to rebuild that bullpen.
John Roush, who did such a good job for Minnesota a year ago, filling in for the injured Joe Nathan. He right now is the closer for the Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Good fastball. Slowly, like so many of these Twins, you can see he grabs the ball, he rocks and fires, likes to work quickly, and throws a lot of strikes. There's a base hit ripped into center field by Encarnacion.
Edwin looking very comfortable at the plate. Sacrifice fly his first time up. A solid single. You're right about Slowey. 29 base on balls last year, 155 innings. Doesn't waste any time.
Opening night crowd 47,984. Full house here at Rogers Center, and they've treated to an outstanding game. Good offensive game, 10 runs on 9 hits. Ricky Romero, 6 1/3 innings of work.
I'm sure this is one guy that Slowey doesn't like to face because the numbers, Travis Snyder versus Kevin Slowey, are off the charts.
4 for 5 with 2 home runs. It's always nice to face somebody that you've had success against.
Isn't it funny how there are certain pitchers where you're just so much more comfortable? Other guys will come up and say, how do you hit this guy? Why? It's just something about it. When you get into that batter's box, you see the ball so much better.
Pick up the ball very quickly out of his hand. Snyder in a hole. Just missed the outside corner. Pops this one up to right field. Kadire calls for it over near right center and makes the catch.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Are you ready for the next generation Civic?
Juan Rivera with a man on and 2 outs. Little flare towards second base. Nishioka has it, and Rivera's retired. Slowey has a good inning. Gives up a base hit and nothing more. We have played 7 innings opening night here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a comfortable lead. in Canada. Here at Rogers Center, it's been a big night for the fans, a big night for the Blue Jays hitters, and the bullpen will get a little more work. Jason Frazier comes out of the pen to work the 8th inning.
Now in his 7th year in the big league, Jason Frazier just keeps doing what he does best. Just go out there, put up zeros on the board. He got into a career high 69 games last year. He also struck out 65 batters, which was also a career high for him, with a .368 earned run average for Frazier. Blue Jays signed him back this season. After last season, John McDonald takes over at second base for Aaron Hill as we begin the 8th inning.
Jason Frazier really finished up strong second half of the season. He was lights out. Sinking the ball a little bit more frequently. That's what we've seen so far this spring. He's got a good fastball. Consistently 93, 94 miles an hour.
Well, he's so smart. He knows himself. If the fastball isn't working that day, he has the ability to turn the ball over and use his changeup.
Joe Mauer hits it in front of Rajay Davis. He has a single, his first hit of the night. Starts things off here in the 8th. See some of the offensive numbers for the Blue Jays. Adam Lind, solo home run. Drove in 2, scored a couple. Ricky Romero, 6 1/3, 7 hits. No walks and 7 strikeouts. In line for his first win of the 2011 season. Justin Morneau. He's lined out to center his first time up. He's 0 for 3. On the night. Ricky Romero did a great job in the 6th inning with back-to-back one-out singles, and then he struck out Mauer and got Morneau on a ground out to the first baseman to end the Twins' threat. Morneau late on a fastball. Might take Justin Morneau a while to really get into the flow of things. He said his timing is off. He didn't get an awful lot of at-bats recovering from those post-concussion syndrome.
Yeah, 11 games in the spring, about $150, but it's all about timing. Ron Gardenhire was talking about that. As you take a look at the infield, Adam Lind very close at first base with an 0-2 count and a 7-run lead.
Frazier ahead 0-2. Ball in the dirt. It is an interesting alignment with a 7-run lead. But it might be a product of trying to get Adam Lind as comfortable as possible. If you put him behind the base runner, Mauer going back and forth, he might not really have a good look at Morneau. I think I would be more comfortable the farther away from Morneau I could get.
I wouldn't be that comfortable being 90 feet away from Morneau.
On the ground, John McDonald in defensively. Good throw to second, return throw in time, double play. John McDonald came off the bench, taking over defensively at second. Escobar made a good grab on a low throw around the bag at second.
The impressive part was the pivot by Escobar in the middle of the diamond. Watch his feet, how quickly he catches the ball and gets his feet set underneath him again so he can throw to first base with something on it. You have to have quick feet to find the bag and then keep your legs underneath you to get something on the throw. Quick and athletic play by Escobar.
Nelman Young takes the first pitch down. Escobar is a different looking player this year. We saw him for 60 games a year ago, but he's much more at home now, much more relaxed.
He's got all
like
the
he's
tools.
Found his home.
Yeah. Got all the tools to play shortstop and play it well.
And Young fouls it back. 2 balls and a strike, 2 outs here in the 8th. Blue Jays scored 4 in the first, 2 in the fourth, 4 in the 5th. Jason Frazier, the 3rd Blue Jays pitcher to work tonight. Little looping fly ball into center. Davis has good speed and makes a running catch. Good inning for Jason Frazier, aided by the 4-6-3 double play. We played 7.5 in Toronto. Blue Jays. Tonight, it's all about Ricky Romero, the Blue Jays starter.
Well, he came out of the bullpen firing strikes. He kept the ball down, and he used all of his pitches. Had a great changeup to get some big strikeouts. And the one inning that really showed me that Romero was on his game, we got a couple of runners on face, Mauer, Morno, and ended himself the inning. Good night for Romero.
6 in the 3rd, 7 hits, 2 earned runs. He didn't walk a batter and struck out 7. 96 pitches over his outing, in line for the W here tonight. Ricky's family in attendance. A good night all around. Left-hander Dusty Hughes out of the Twins bullpen. That was a first pitch strike to J.P. Arancibia. Arancibia's had a good night at the plate. He homered the first Blue Jays home run of the 2011 season, a 2-run shot to center field in the 4th, came off Carl Pavano. He also added a 2-run triple in the 5th inning.
That 2 to center field shows you how strong he is to get the ball over to Howard Span's head.
Drew Butera, the backup catcher, will finish off this game for the Twins. Butera's father, Sal Butera, scout with the Blue Jays. Drew Butcher, one of the pure catch and throw guys in the big leagues. Boy, he can catch it and throw it.
He was up over 40% throwing out base stealers last year.
Well, he certainly got a lot of work in the spring, as Joe Mauer didn't play much coming off of knee surgery. Butcher got an awful lot of opportunities to play. Good rip by Aaron Sevia, boy. How about that? Just a hit here and there, get your confidence back, get a home run, has a triple, looks like a different hitter now.
Yeah, he certainly does. Spring training, he was hitting everything to right field. He was under the ball a lot. He said his timing just wasn't there. One good smoke ball to center, and you're gonna feel
There's
good about
another
the
drive to right. This ball's got a chance. This ball is gone. J.P. Aaron Sevia, his second home run of the night, an opposite field shot to right. Two home runs reminiscent of his major league debut against Tampa Bay.
He hit a home run in that game just like this one, down and away. It looks like it's off the end of the bat, and it's going to be a pop-up down the right field line, but we talked about it the last time he was up. He's going to hit those fly balls that just keep going and going and going, and this one just scrapes over the wall in right field. And yes, sir, off to a good start here in 2011.
What a night. Everybody was concerned, including Aaron Sevia, about the bat. Those fears are forgotten. 2 home runs, a triple. 11 total bases.
You know, you said it. Just that one hit and get the monkey off your back and just relax. And as soon as that ball left the ballpark in the 4th inning for Aaron Sevia, he just looked like a different hitter.
Aaron Sevia becomes just the 6th Blue Jay to have a multiple home run game on opening day. There's a delay in the action. Joe West, the home plate umpire, is trying to get the stadium operations people to ask the fans to refrain from throwing these towels on the field. Been going on all night long. This is part of the giveaway opening night, and Blue Jays fans have repeatedly thrown towels on the field, and Joe West's kind of running out of patience.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Are you ready for the next generation Civic?
It's been a party all night long at Rogers Center. Blue Jays lead the Twins 11-3. $47,984 fans in attendance, and the grounds crew has had to do extra duty.
And I think 47,000 of the towels are out on the field. Enough of that. Rajai Davis into hit for his 5th time tonight. He got it all started back in the 1st inning with that infield single, using his legs to beat out a ground ball.
Now the Blue Jays have hit 4 home runs, just like John Farrell said in spring training. We're not going to forget about the home run. We're just going to complement it with our speed. We mentioned J.P. Aaron Sevia becomes the 6th Blue Jay player to have a multi-home run game on opening day. He joins the late Doug Ault, John Mayberry, George Bell, who had 3 in 1988 at Kansas City. And 2000, Shannon Stewart and Tony Batista both had a 2-home run game opening day. That came against the Royals here at Rogers Center. So we are set for action as the field has been cleaned up. Rajai Davis takes a strike from Dusty Hughes. With Adam Lynn's home run tonight, he joins a list of Blue Jays with 3 opening day home runs. The list includes Tony Batista, George Bell, Carlos Delgado, and Shannon Stewart.
A lot of the hitters have looked very comfortable tonight.
This ball is popped up high, but shallow into center field. Bernard Span makes the catch. Fans, don't forget, Sportsnet.ca has all your baseball coverage 24/7. Live chats during the game, fantasy pools, and great writing from Shai Davidi, Mike Romer, and Scott Carson. I'll be answering questions on there as well every week. All that and more. Sportsnet.ca.
Who's that guy on the right there?
Scott Carson, the guy that helps us out here in the booth, is also doing a great job on Rogers. Sportsnet.ca. The veteran of many openers, Scott Carson. Junior Escobar had a hit in his first at bat.
Well, I guess the question has been answered, Buck.
What's that?
Blue Jays lose Vernon Wells and Lyle Overbay and John Buck, a lot of home runs. Do they have enough power still? I think that question has been answered tonight.
It certainly looks like that. 4 home runs in the game tonight. Jose Bautista, the reigning Major League home run leader. His first home run. Adam Lynn went deep, back-to-back homers in the 5th, but J.P. Aronsebi has been the offensive star tonight. Escobar takes his strike. Aronsebi had 2 home runs, a triple, and 5 RBI. Pretty good way to start your season.
Number 9 hitter. How about that?
Full count. Escobar takes his base. Take a look at the turnover. It's pretty dramatic when you look at the opening day departures from a year ago. Markham, Evelyn, and Talent were in the starting rotation last year.
Sean Markham pitched opening day. He was their number 1. Kevin Gregg was their closer. Scott Downs, their lefty 8th inning guy. Starting center fielder, starting first baseman, starting shortstop. So lots of holes came out when they lost those players, and they have been filled by some very good players.
By contrast, Minnesota has only 2 different players from a year ago. Jose Bautista. 2 hits, a walk. He scored 2 and driven in a run in his first home run of the 2011 season. Big swing and a miss. Twins have 3 left-handed relievers in their bullpen. Dusty Hughes, Glenn Perkins, they both pitched in tonight's game, and Jose Majares. Hughes pitched against the Twins last year out of the Royals bullpen. And he pitched so well, both Maurer and Morneau recommended the Twins take a look at Hughes if they could acquire him. Sure enough, he made this ball club in the spring.
Claimed off waivers by the Twins back in January.
Bautista bounces it to short. Casilla can't find the handle. Throw to first base, not nearly in time. It'll be an infield hit for Bautista. He has 3 tonight. Pretty good way to erase the memories of a less than impressive spring. 2 home runs tonight. Just 1 home run in 24 games in the spring, and boy, oh boy, that's got to take a load off of his mind.
Isn't it funny? You could look just awful in Florida in spring training. Totally lost at the plate, and all of a sudden the bell rings for the regular season, and you're a different player.
Lynn's had a good start to his season. The plan for the catching duties includes Jose Molina catching Kyle Drabek, and that's the starter for tomorrow for the Blue Jays. 2 balls and a strike to Lynn.
They're going to split it up 3-2. Aaron Sebia catch three of the starters, and Molina will catch 2 of the starters.
Foul. 2-2, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Blue Jays took an early lead and never looked back. Breaking ball pulled wide at first.
I'm going to make a bet with you.
Okay.
Adam Lynn is going to hit left-handed pitching a lot better this year than he did last year.
What did he hit against him last year?
.117 last year.
Well, way to go out on a limb.
Well, I just think he is such a good hitter that it doesn't matter left or right.
There you go. You're going to win the bet. Lynn gets a base hit. Escobar comes around third. He'll score. Bautista goes first to third as Lynn delivers and trying to back up Pat Tabler with his thoughts. Nice approach against the lefty breaking ball.
You got to keep that front side in against a lefty, especially if he drops down. Hughes does that, but he keeps it in there long enough, stays with it, pulls it in the right field for another RBI.
Adam Lynn had quite a differential between his success against righties versus lefties. He hit 158 points higher against right-handed pitchers last year. John McDonald bats for the first time and lifts it to center field. Bautista tags up at third. He'll jog home, and McDonald will pick up the RBI in his first at bat of the 2011 season. So Johnny Mack gets into the action and gets into the RBI column.
Nobody appreciates it more than that batter on deck when someone goes first to third, less than 2 outs. All you have to do is lift the ball into center field and pick yourself up an RBI.
Remember in Encarnacion singled into center field his last time up. Butera smothered that ball. Blue Jays have scored 13 runs on 12 hits.
They're going to come close, but it doesn't look like they're going to break the record for most hits on an opening day. They had 16 hits the first game they ever played.
1977, highlighted by the late Doug Ault's 2 home runs on opening day. First game ever played by the Blue Jays against the White Sox. Ken Brett was the starting pitcher for Chicago. Jerry Johnson picked up the win for the Blue Jays. Encarnacion goes down on strikes. Butera hangs on to the foul tip, but the Blue Jays add 3 here in the 8th. Now time for a connected update with Jamie and Greg live from the brand new Blackberry broadcast studio here at Rogers Center. Jamie? J.P. Arencibia hits the first pitch he sees in the big leagues for a home run against James Shields of the Tampa Bay Rays, and just for good measure, that looked just exactly like the home run he hit here tonight to right field. He had a 2-home run night. Second player in Major League history to have 4 hits and 2 homers in his first Major League game. And he has added to his resume with a big night here opening night.
What is it about those first games? Carlos Villanueva will take over and become the 4th pitcher for the Blue Jays tonight. He was acquired from the Milwaukee Brewers. Villanueva possesses a very strong arm, averaging about a strikeout an inning. He will take over, and as will Mike McCoy, who takes over in center field for Rajai Davis as he plays the 9th inning.
Michael Kadire files it back. Villanueva appeared in 50 games a year ago for Milwaukee. And nice job out of their bullpen. Averaged less than a hit per inning pitched. He will throw you the kitchen sink. Good breaking ball has Kadire out on his front foot. Johnny Mack calls off Adam Lind. 1 out here in the 9th.
Let the sure man have it. That's what Johnny Mack is saying right now as he gets a laugh with Adam Lind.
Fourth Blue Jays pitcher of the night. Ricky Romero went 6 1/3. Casey Jansen 2/3 of an inning. Jason Frazier worked an inning, and now Villanueva trying to wrap it up.
Who also had a very good spring. He got into 10 games for the Blue Jays, an ERA just over 2. And what he brings as that ball is lifted down the right field line and foul. What he brings to the table as a big right-hander who can come out of that bullpen and get strikeouts. He showed it in spring training, got into 13 innings, and he had 14 strikeouts. You mentioned the kitchen sink that he'll throw up there. Good hard fastball. He sinks it. He's got a good sharp slider. Just 2 base on balls this spring. So a guy who's been around for a few years, who possesses a strong arm coming out of that pen.
Good fastball there. Kubal's late on it. Well, just an added dimension, and Villanueva's pitched very well against lefties in the past. Cutter in on the hands of Kubal, lifted into shallow right. McDonald backpedals and gives way to Bautista. 2 outs here in the 9th. Big opening night for the home team. 47,984 fans have been treated to a good one. Danny Valencia takes his strike. Twins down to their final strike. Carlos Villanueva caps off a great night to start the season. A 1-2-3 9th inning, punctuated by a strikeout of Danny Valencia. Big night offensively for J.P. Arencibia. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. He threw a triple in for good measure.
I think we learned a couple of things tonight about the Blue Jays. Ricky Romero is going to have a big year, I think. He's going to be the leader of the staff, and the Blue Jays can still hit home runs. 4 more of them tonight.
Big night offensively. 13 runs on 12 hits. We thank you for watching. And for Eastern Ontario, stay tuned right after the game for Connected. For Western Pacific, it'll be the Mariners and A's as they open up the season. Thanks for watching.